Thank you all so much for being here today. In this session, we're going to walk through everything you need to track and manage winning marketing campaigns in Asana. I'm so thrilled to be here with you all today. My name is Marima. I am on our product marketing team here at Asana. My role is to lead our Tier 1 launches, which are our biggest, most strategic, fully integrated campaigns that we have at Asana. I partner with our cross-functional marketing teams to activate these launches across multiple different channels like press, digital, social, demand gen, events, and much more. So what we're talking about today with campaign management, this is very near and dear to me because it's something I do day in and day out with my role. In today's session, we have a lot of topics lined up, all focused around campaign management. We'll first walk through what defines a successful campaign. And then I'll be joined by an incredibly special guest from Verizon Value, and they're going to walk through how they transform their campaign management workflow with Asana. And we'll cover some campaign management best practices. So by the end of this session, you should leave with some fresh ideas and actionable insights that you can take back to your organization for your campaigns. Now, we're all marketers here in this pseudo room, and in this space, I'm going to declare this as a safe space, a trust circle here. And in this trust circle, we can all acknowledge and admit that running campaigns can be really chaotic. It can be really complex and challenging. And as marketers, a lot of us are tasked to do more with less, whether that's launching campaigns faster or having to manage more channels than before, or having higher expectations from our leadership to deliver more ROI with fewer resources. And when we don't have a structured way to manage our campaigns, we're inundated with all of these different requests coming in from different channels, whether that's Slack or email, or someone stopping you in the hallway and saying, hey, what's the promo plan for this new asset? Where's the brief? Can we get it optimized for these 6 channels? And you're just like, wait, what new asset are you talking about? Right? I see some nods. We've all been there trying to manage through this chaos. And when we're managing through this chaos, when we don't have a structured approach to campaign management, that leaves room for gaps in information, which potentially causes delays, which could cause rework of the work that's being done, and that ultimately impacts the bottom line. And for our marketing teams, they're frustrated because they're spending so much time on the busy work and not doing the work itself. So that's why a structured approach to campaign management is critical. Now, the good news is we don't have to live in this chaos. We can maximize campaign ROI with standardized workflows. And at Asana, we define workflows as having these 4 key stages: intake, planning, execution, and reporting. Now, you're probably having deja vu because you saw these earlier in the keynote. So the reason why we anchor on these 4 stages at Asana is because we found that when we take campaign management and break it up into this structured process, that's when we go from chaos to clarity for marketing teams. So let's quickly walk through these stages as a quick refresher. So first we start in the intake stage. And this is where we're capturing requests in a standardized way so that every time a new request comes in, we're getting all the right information up front and eliminating any of that back and forth. In planning, this is where we, of course, set the plan. We set the timelines, the dependencies, and we align on expectations with our key stakeholders. Then in execution, this is where we actually do the launch. We launch the campaign and create that magic for customers. And finally, in reporting, this is where we optimize future campaigns by tracking the success of our campaigns and give executives that visibility they need to make data-driven business decisions. So rather than just talking about these 4 stages, we're going to bring these to life with a real customer example. I mentioned before, one of our customers is Verizon Value, and they were selected as a marketing visionary in our Asana Work Innovation Awards. So I'm thrilled to be joined on stage by Lou Wesley, who is the Senior Manager for Workflow Management at Verizon Value.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Marima, for having me. My name is Lou Wesley. I'm with the Verizon Value organization, and specifically the base management team, where we are responsible for creating campaigns to really retain our customers and promote loyalty among our customer base. And I'm excited to be here and looking forward to this conversation. So, the reason we brought in Asana is our work lived in different places. Just like Marima said, we were bouncing between email conversations, shared documents, and Slack conversations. So nothing was broken, but we figured we can do it a little bit more efficiently. So Asana became our single source of truth. So that allowed us to create increased visibility into our workflows. And the most important thing was really to enhance our collaboration amongst our teams. We have several different teams that manage our campaigns on a daily basis, and increasing the collaboration between those teams was paramount to the success of this new workflow for us. And finally, we were able to automate a lot of these tasks and move them between different stages of the workflow and create a notification system to allow teams to take that work and move it into the next stage.
Thank you for talking through those opportunities that you had with the team. I'm sure these opportunities resonate with those of you sitting here because, of course, who doesn't want to increase visibility, collaboration, and automation for their teams, right? But Lou, what I really want to dive into is, so what? You had these opportunities. Why were they important, and what business impact did they lead to?
Yeah, absolutely. So really what they led to was, number one, clear alignment around our execution process from brief to launch. Immediately, we were able to see the big picture as to what the volume of our requests look like, and we were able to rally around that. This also helped us create seamless handoffs between our teams, and I mentioned that before. This really helps keep, enhance the collaboration and help keep our campaigns on track. And finally, automation was a huge time saver for us. Again, we took these routine tasks, these routine communications, and we automated those as work moved through the stages of the workflow.
Yeah, everything that you just walked through and everything we have here on the slide, this is what we hear at Asana from marketing leaders all the time that they're aspiring towards. This is what they want to achieve. And it's not just from enterprise organizations like Verizon Value, it's from medium size and smaller size organizations as well across industries. Now, you're probably all sitting there thinking, okay, this is great in theory, but Lou, Marima, give us more. How? How do we actually do this? So Lou, can you walk us through how you and the team transformed the campaign management workflow across those 4 stages?
Sure. So we took the 4 stages and we applied them to our work like every other client would do. So we started with an intake form, and this is where we really saw the big picture that I mentioned before as to how many requests we are receiving on a monthly basis, and that is upwards of 200 different campaign requests on a monthly basis. So this allowed us to gather that information, gather the requirements for all of those campaigns, and then triage them into different sections depending on the type of request that we are receiving. The next thing we did, we took a templatized project approach. So we created a project template, and instead of creating separate projects per work stream, we integrated all of our work streams into one project template. So all of our strategic planning, all of our creative development, all of our testing, and all of our implementation tasks are all handled within one project. And what's great about that is all the teams have visibility into what the other teams are working on and where things are in that particular project in terms of the overall stage that they are in. And it also helps them communicate and collaborate a lot better because now all of our communication is being contained within the Asana project, so nothing gets lost in the mix between different communications such as email and Slack. And what we also did to help our teams out, we layered what I like to call success boards onto this project. So, for example, our implementation team and our creative team, they each have their own dashboard where we're multi-homing these tasks into. So all of our implementation work is all in one project. So this team gets an idea of, okay, this is what we need to work on today, this is what we need to work on tomorrow, and so on. And the same thing with our creative team. And just by implementing those success boards, we were able to also create a huge time-saving measure, which prevents the teams from having to bounce across different projects. Everything's in one project. And then next thing we worked on was automations. And what I love about the automations is, again, it allows us to move those tasks back and forth, create those notifications, and I'll get into it in the next slide, but we also were able to create a beautiful priority scoring model using a combination of custom fields and automated rules. And then finally, with our custom fields, again, we applied that priority scoring model to just name one process that we're using them for, and also to identify where things are in the work stream.
I love that. I love a beautiful priority scoring model. Very proud of that. Thank you, Lou, for walking through that in detail. I know the team did a lot across these 4 stages, and that's certainly no small feat for a company of the size and scale as Verizon Value. But really, I think the real question here is, what were the results? Was the team happy with this new process? Did it lead to business impact? Tell us a little bit more about the
Yeah,
results.
absolutely. So the team was ecstatic. Not initially, because we were kind of disrupting the way they were working, but once they saw the results, once they saw that big picture of how Asana can increase their speed to market, they immediately embraced it, which resulted, again, in stronger cross-team alignment and accountability. So all of our teams are rallying around the same goal through Asana, and we're also able to hold each other accountable for our work. And then finally, leadership really embraced this because this helped us improve our visibility to leadership. So at any time, leadership can go into Asana and get an idea of how many campaigns have been requested, how many are being developed, and how many are in market. And I'm just going to share this quote by a very close colleague of mine. I'm just going to read it verbatim because she said it best, and this really speaks to the impact that Asana has made on our team's organization. Since implementing Asana, we've achieved significant process efficiencies, notably in improving our campaign implementation timelines. The team highly values all campaign details centralized, eliminating the need to search for information across disparate systems. So that's a powerful statement, and one that is echoed across our organization as to what value Asana has brought to our team and to our work overall, and most importantly to our customer base.
Yeah, I love that quote because it shows just the impact to the team, but also to the customer, like you said. And we love to see these sort of results when customers implement their workflows in Asana, they have faster campaign launches, and just work together more efficiently. Now, Lou, obviously you're the expert. You've done this successfully with the team, and I'm sure folks here are wishing they could just take what's in your brain and put it into practice in their organizations. So what advice or tips do you have for the people here that are wondering how they can implement this in their own orgs?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're introducing a new way of working, your adoption may not, people are going to be hesitant. So while you're building this out, you want to invite the people that are most important to this workflow, and those are your stakeholders. Those are the people that are going to be using the tool every day. So you want to bring them along on the journey. You want to get them involved in the discovery phase. You want to brainstorm with them. You want to hold whiteboarding sessions to make sure that you're creating a workflow solution that they will want to use, that they will want to be excited to dive into on a daily basis. So that's the first thing. Bring them along on the journey. The second thing is drive ongoing change management. So in the beginning, as you can imagine, adoption was a little slow, but we kept reinforcing that through a series of videos. So I'm big on videos. Everybody who asks me a question, I answer them with a video. because that's the most efficient way to do it versus screenshots. And I also produce a regular series I like to call Workflow Wednesdays with Lou, which will be anything from 2-minute snippets to, we'll spend about 15 minutes just diving into different aspects of the workflow. And that has been hugely successful. And we continue to do that today. And, finally, you want to lead with, a culture of clarity, and collaboration. And that's, really what Asana is built for, to build that collaborative environment to enable teams to be successful in what they do on a daily basis.
I love that framing, but before we talk about the framing, I do want to ask, are you taking signups for Workflow Wednesdays with Lou? Because
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send you the link.
yeah, I want to join that mailing list.
Subscribe.
I'm sure there will be a long line of folks who also want to subscribe, so you'll have a big following here. But in all seriousness, what I love about your framing and what I take away the most from your story is that the real transformation doesn't come just from the new tools. It's really about empowering the team to create that new shared culture of how work gets done. And that's where the real ROI comes from. Now, Lou, obviously, you've done this successfully. Are there any final thoughts that you want to leave the folks here with?
Really just, it's a good question. No, really, I summed it up here before. Really, empowerment is key. For us, Asana wasn't just a tool. It helped shape our culture. It was a cultural shift in the right direction towards more efficiency, greater velocity, and more successful campaigns creation. So really, again, your users are your key stakeholders. Bring them along on the journey, and they're going to have a fun ride.
Yeah, I love that. Love a fun ride. Thank you so much, Lou, for joining us here and sharing your story. We really appreciate it and hope to have you back on stage next year sharing the next chapter in your story. And thank you all so much for joining us for this session today. The learning doesn't stop here. There's a lot of great activations in the expo floor, but a couple ones that I want to call out is the customer success bar, where you can go for more tips on how to manage campaigns in Asana. And then everything that we just talked about, everything Lou walked through of all the components of what they're using in Asana, you can see that in action in the demo zones in the expo zone. And that's where you can also see not just campaign management workflows, but other marketing workflows in action as well. So thank you all so much for joining our session, and hope you enjoy the rest of the event.